Kurt, brother, how are you doing?
Man, I'm good. I got a haircut. Like I know I had a hat on, but man, look at this.
Okay.
I have those. What do you call them? What are they? Waves? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Those
yeah. You got yourself a bit
like
of waves. All right, you know.
little
Yeah,
ethnically a little different, but hey, we're still
yeah,
here.
ethnically a
We're
little
getting it.
different.
You know what I mean?
What did you sit down in the chair and ask for?
I said, I said, give me a burst fade, but keep the mullet. You know what I mean? That's what I said.
That's what you
Like I
said?
gotta keep it.
I was about to say it looks like a burst fade. If it's just like a mini burst fade, like a low tapered burst fade.
Yeah. I did some research this time. I didn't just go in and say, cut it short here, do this. I was like, I want it like this, and I showed a picture on Instagram. I keep it prepared.
I'm not gonna
So
lie, you surprised me right there. I did not think I would ever hear the word burst fade uttered from your mouth. That is such a Gen Z like style haircut. Dang, bro, that's
well, it's
crazy.
like it's the new thing. It's I like to show up prepared. You know what I mean?
So
And
prepared.
I know a couple other people that like to show up prepared, not just mentally, but physically. The way they show up for work, the way they
Exactly.
represent themselves,
Hmm.
and for example, I think somebody who takes the time to tailor their work clothes and take the time to dress to impress as a technician is someone that we probably all should be taking a note or two out of their book from.
And maybe I already have, since they're a big, high profile individual in the automotive industry.
It's such a good example because it lets us know that hey, some technicians out there will just talk bad. Oh, I'm just a technician, or I don't want to talk to customers. I don't want to do this. I don't want to dress nice. I want to grow my beard out 10 feet. I don't want to do all this. And it's like, there's somebody doing it right now, and they are one of the most successful technicians, not just for their brand, but in the space.
Yep. And that'll be Dr. AMG, and we're having him on today. I'm
There's a
excited.
lot of
Huh?
so much build up. We're like,
Yeah, so
we're
much
gonna
build
build
up.
it,
So,
build it.
so much build up.
Yeah.
I should have been like, we're having Dr. AMG here now.
Like an evil mad scientist.
Yeah, but I'm very excited to have him on. I mean, dude, I seen that photo he had with Lewis Hamilton, which is insane. Bro went to an F1 race, which I don't know anything about F1. I'm more of a drag race guy, but and I mean drag races. I mean the cars going forward. Okay. Okay.
The right types of drag races with cars.
Yes, the
But
correct ones.
I think
I mean,
before we get into the episode, the thing that's stood out to me with Chris / Dr. AMG is, his presence has led to a lot of his success. And you just mentioned the Lewis Hamilton thing. That was Mercedes seeing him, seeing what he does, seeing what he represents, and saying, hey, come be a part of what we're doing because we really love what you're doing. And I know I'm going to take very close listen to what we're about to hear today.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the WOTPod, starring the best co-host duo in the nation. Me, of course, Jay, and Curtis, as always, Curtis. Today, we have a wonderful guest up above us. Y'all may know him as Dr. AMG, one of the most popular influencers, automotive influencers on the internet. Christopher Manning, thank you for being on the podcast, man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Ben. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. We are excited to have on you here, especially because I was still doing a little bit of research. I mean, you graduated Dallas College debt free, which in most cases people come out of college with a bunch of debt. So, can you give us a bit of an introduction on how you even got into Dallas College and what piqued your interest in the automotive industry?
Man, you actually did some pretty solid homework on me. Dallas colleges, I wound up going to Brookhaven. I did that because at the time, and it still is, one of the best automotive programs in the nation. and you graduate with a degree, not just a certificate. I got into automotive because that's what I wanted to do since I was probably 5. It just always was the direction I went. I like taking things apart, putting them together. And I didn't obviously know at the time that it was going to be cars, but I grew up changing brakes with my dad, changing oil, and I always enjoyed it. And I've never questioned what I wanted to do.
I think
A lot of
most
technicians
impressive-
find themselves questioning what they want to do as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say is we all wanted to start it out pretty young, automotive, and I know for me at least it was like, oh, I want to build cars and stuff like that, and here I'm just fixing them. But I think you did enough research to go and get a degree for it, and I feel like a lot of people could take a page out of that book, because I think I'd have to guess that was probably a little bit more financially smart than maybe going to like a big technical school like UTI or something like that.
That was kind of my thinking behind it at the time. As far as I know, they've actually revised their program now to where you do graduate UTI with an associate's, which is kind of a big deal. If automotive doesn't work out for you, you at least are halfway through college. But at the time that I was going through it, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I didn't get one.
Yeah.
I went to UTI.
That's
How
kind of
did,
been like one of the things that people make fun of too. What?
Which part?
Like no degree, just a certificate for like over 40 grand. I mean, I've heard a lot of jokes about it, but if they revise that, dude, that's like all for the better.
I think they have.
Yeah, I think I heard the same thing, where it was like people now for maybe the last 5 years or so are getting associates, and I was like, I think they had even offered for people like myself who went through the program, you can go back and like take an extra course or two and get an associate's.
Mm-hmm.
So at least they're offering some options. How did you go from there into Mercedes? Because you're a massive Mercedes guy. I think we all know by now.
Wait, you work for Mercedes? I'm playing.
Work for Mercedes, drive a Mercedes, live on Mercedes.
Live in a Mercedes?
No, I live on Mercedes Avenue.
No, I'm just joking. Like, just in case Mercedes made houses too. Obviously, they don't.
No, that's like a fun fact about me, though. Like my street name is literally Mercedes Avenue for my house.
Whoa! It was meant to be. Were you already working for Mercedes when you moved there?
Yeah, this was 2020, so I've been there 15 years. How did I get into Mercedes? This is while I was in school. I was at an independent shop for about 3 years. They were higher end European focused and got a good foundation there. I really enjoyed it and figured out and confirmed that this is actually what I wanted to do. But I wanted more training, and I wasn't getting that at the independents. Lots of good independents. I don't have anything against them. It just wasn't what I was looking for. And so I started searching around, and I've gone over this with a few different people, but Porsche was up there, Mercedes was up there, thought about BMW. But for me, it went back to the history and the heritage that Mercedes has. We designed or patented the first automobile in 1896, and there's so many different things that Mercedes has done first. And I just really identified with the brand motto, which is the best or nothing. And after 2.5, 3 years, I just went in and applied one day and wound up having an interview on the spot. And I had a job 2 weeks later, and the rest is kind of history. It worked out super well for me.
Did you see that thing that Porsche posted a couple of days ago about the Mercedes? I think it was like a 150-year birthday or something like that, where it was they did like a tribute to Mercedes. Porsche did,
140.
where they mentioned the first.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That two huge brands that sort of compete are so respective of each other. It was kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as far as other car makes, Porsche is probably one of the top other brands that I really, really respect.
There's something about we talked about this when we met in person that one time, how the history of Mercedes and the history of Porsche and BMW, and then like when it came to Audi, it's there. They just don't lean as heavily on it, and that always it was always just one of those things that was like it was hard for me to feel invested, and I see that with you. You're so invested in not just Mercedes as a brand, but Mercedes and all the other things they do, from the racing and the stuff like that.
Yeah.
Pretty
I'm
it's pretty
definitely
cool to see
still
how-
team Mercedes on F1, but Lewis is definitely still my guy.
Yeah, I seen that you had the opportunity to meet him. That's amazing. Like, how did that even get? Like, how did they reach out to you, or how did that even become a thing?
Oh, the marketing coordinator for the F1 team reached out from his personal account in my Instagram DMs. It went to my junk folder. I just got lucky that I had checked it, and I was like, this has to be spam. There's no way. But he was inviting me down to the Austin GP. And he was like, yeah, we want you to come hang out with the team for the weekend. And I was like, is this legit? And
you got the right guy here.
yeah. Like, are you the right guy? And I did some Googling, and he sent me an email address to contact him at. And I was like, well, this is the email address on the Mercedes AMG F1 official website. So if you're not the guy, then this guy is going to get an email from me. And it was legit. They picked me up, and I got to hang out with the team down in the team area for the entire day on Thursday. And the social media guys were letting me follow them for the team. Were letting me follow them around to see what they did. And after probably 5 or 6 hours, I'd seen all of the guys on the team, Toto, George, Lewis at the time. And I'm just watching them get bothered and pestered all day long. And I'm just enjoying being there. So I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm just going to enjoy this moment. And towards the end of the afternoon, the social media guys were like, hey, follow us. We're going to go to the garage and we're going to do a photo shoot with Lewis. I was like, dope. right behind you.
Heck yeah.
And so we leave the team headquarters and walk, into the garage, into the paddock area. And as we're getting to where the cars are, Lewis just turns around and goes, hey man, I've seen you here all day and I don't know you. I'm Lewis. And like reaches out his hand, shakes my hand. And I'm like, yeah, I know you're Lewis. And he sat and talked to me for, I don't know, 8 or 10 minutes about what I did for Mercedes, my car. Talked to me about, he had some SLSs at the time that he was having an issue with. And I was like, they always say, don't meet your heroes. Well, I did. And he was one of the most genuine humans I've ever met. And he doesn't have to be.
True.
Yeah, not at all.
That's an amazing opportunity, bro. That's like, man, I know you were. I know you went like he shook your hand, like you almost missed his hand, and when you were sweating and shaking, you're like, oh gosh.
Honestly, because the social media guys got some photos of the interaction. Like you saw the one of us just standing next to each other, but they got a few photos of right when he did it, and the level of dilation in my eyes, if you zoom in, just the pure shock that he had turned around and addressed me directly and realized I was there. I was like, yeah, it was pretty hilarious.
That's funny. Definitely meme worthy. I wish they posted those. It started your own meme compilation.
I know.
What year was that?
That was 21.
still the last well, I guess two whatever they call it specs ago.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. One thing that we mentioned that we talked in person, and you told me that you get your work uniforms tailored, and I thought that was the most unique thing. Can you kind of tell us how that started and what that means to you? The shop.
I mean, it kind of goes along with the way I just feel about technicians generally. You know, I want us to be a more respected profession. And, you know, even if you look at sales guys and the way they carry themselves, the way they dress, you know, they look more professional generally than technicians do. Yet on a sheer knowledge basis, not saying like people skills are a huge thing that a lot of technicians don't have, but knowledge basis, like there's a lot of difficulty in being a technician, but I think that gets overlooked in just the way we present ourselves a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've tried to do something different. You know, I felt like having a nice collared shirt is something that kind of sets you apart. You know, like I wear Lululemons at work, pants. They're the comfiest things ever, and they fit with the collared shirt.
I'm sorry, brother.
So you were saying you wear what kind of pants?
Honestly, like I wear them a lot outside of work, and I was like, man, you know, if I just got, you know, 4 or 5 pairs of these in black, they look like dress pants, but they fit like sweatpants, and they're as comfy as sweatpants, but they look professional.
Mm-hmm.
And more professional than a lot of just typical work pants. Honestly, they've held up super well. But I did that and then had my uniform shirts tailored, and people notice. You know, when I go up there to talk to customers, there's not a lot of questioning that happens. And that's not all due to just the way uniforms look, but you know, it's just one piece that plays into the bigger picture.
Well, I think it sets such a good example. Like your career, the things you're doing with social media, the connections you have with Mercedes, the Formula One thing, like that all stems from the way that people see you, and they see you through social media, and they say, "Hey, this guy's doing something different." And I think it's safe to say those are the reasons why you're in a position now that you're in, is because of the little things like that, where you took the time to represent yourself at such a high standard.
Yeah, and I mean that's how I try and work too. You know, I'm fortunate enough to be one of the very few non-commission technicians. It's not technically salary. Like I'm paid off how my team does, so I'm incentivized to make my team more efficient. And they ask, you know, a certain number of hours per week from me, but I'm not paid off my own production. So that makes it easier for me to handle some of the higher end clientele that's really looking for that detail oriented work, because it would be difficult to do exactly what I do as a flagging technician.
Oh yeah, I mean, I
And
bet
that's not something that's lost on me either, because I was flagging for a very long time.
How did they come up with that opportunity for you? How did it all get set up?
It was a structure that MB USA had put out when they came out with the Centralized Diagnostic Technician certification, and not many dealers did it, but there were me and one other guy in my dealer wound up passing that certification initially in 2014, and then a secondary version of that certification in 2017. And there were some people that were pushing really hard for it. I was kind of either direction on it. But my dealer wound up pushing it through and giving it to the guys that had made CDT at the time. So it's worked out.
Bro, is that the highest level of like diagnostic certification you can achieve for Mercedes?
With Mercedes, yeah.
With Mercedes, okay.
It's intense.
It's intense for real.
There's an initial assessment. It's 3 parts written and a practical exam where they time you in diagnosing a car while 6 instructors watch you diagnose the car and analyze your process. They have mirrored screens of the SDS. And that's just to see if you're good enough to do the program.
Oof,
and then from there, it's over the course of a year, but it's 4 to 5 week-long classes with study in between on diagnostic theory, telematics theory, best practices, things like that. And at the end of the year, mind you, these are master technicians, team leaders, shop foremen. These are the types of technicians that are going through this program. It's a 3-day pass-fail where, again, it's 3 written tests, and each one is individually graded and individually passed. So if you don't pass one of them, you don't pass any of it. And then 2 practical diagnostics. You have 60 minutes. And again, they're analyzing exactly what you're doing. And hopefully you fix the car or find the bug, because if you don't, then you just spend a year doing this program and come out of it with essentially nothing experience. And it's a great program, but no certification.
Shoot, at that point, at like the 50-minute mark, that's when you just got to hit a parts cannon and just be like, yeah, I'm going to recommend this whole chassis.
Yeah. And see, that'll fail you too. Like they don't want to see the right answer. They want to see your process. They want you to show your work. It's like math class back in school.
I like it.
They don't care so much about the final. Like, if you walked in there and 5 minutes later, you're like, this is the problem, and it was fixed, they would care less about that than the process that you followed to get there.
Was there a definitive moment in your career that kind of solidified how detailed and how like good you wanted to be as a Mercedes technician, or like how you wanted to chase it?
Probably around 2017. I've naturally always been very detail oriented and organized. It reduces my internal stress levels when things around me are organized. But 2017, when I got the second CDT, was kind of that's when I started my page officially. I didn't use it a lot before that or after that until about 2021. But at that point, I felt like I had the credentials to back up, presenting a professional opinion to the world, not just, oh, I'm a technician at Mercedes. But I had gotten the highest level at that point. And at the time, I was one of 2 technicians in North America that had reached that certification level. There's about 12 of us now, but still very few.
Yeah. The Audi one has nowhere near that level, but they did have a hands-on portion where you had to have a couple bug cars and figured them out within an hour. Had like some other stations, but they didn't have the build-up like that program, nor the notoriety I think that one has. It speaks to what Mercedes wants their highest levels technicians to represent. I mean, you're the best of the best to 12. How many Mercedes technicians are there in the United States? There's probably a couple thousand, if not more, I'd say.
Honestly, if you meet anyone that's made it through that program, and there's a lot of people that didn't make it through that program that are incredible technicians. But
yeah, I'd
like,
imagine
there's really small things that just, if you're not good under time pressure in public settings, which a lot of technicians just naturally aren't, even if you're the smartest technician in the shop. If that's something that doesn't work well for you, then a lot of those guys didn't pass. But if you meet any of them, I don't even have to know you. If you have that certification, I'm like, you're a legit tech.
I'm curious how that ties into like your pay structure now. You mentioned that the way does that give you the opportunity now to really, just like you said, be more organized, more focused, and just kind of really focus on your team and the cars you're working on when you're not having to worry about like flat rate or making a paycheck or something like that?
The biggest thing for me is I'm sheerly paid off of my team's efficiency and production. So my main concern is I think of myself as like the lubrication for the team per se.
Well, you keep it running
smoothly. If there's some nonsense car that comes in or something that I know is going to be a real difficult diagnosis, I'll try and pull those cars, or just small things like that. If an advisor wrote up a recall but didn't put the description in there, I'll look it up and put all that in there. Just dozens and dozens of small little things to keep them busy doing the actual work, and me doing lots of little side things and taking care of some of the more important cars that are less time sensitive.
Mm-hmm. Keeping everything together.
Yeah.
The glue. I like it. Dang. I mean,
I need to describe that differently.
I don't know. It just reminds me of like a bunch of memes saying, "You get that thing oiled down."
I don't know if I heard that one. Do you get it oiled down?
Yeah. It's just it's like when you're getting a haircut and the barber is saying random things to you. So he's like, "Did you ever get that thing oiled down?" And he looks up and it's like, "What?" And I mean, it's just the lubrication. He was like lube, and I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't tie together, but my mind tied it together for some reason.
Yeah. I guess what I was trying to ask on that last one was just some, I mean, we all know there's the controversy around flat rate and stuff. And I feel like you're in a position to take those little jobs and help your team, and not necessarily as a dispatcher put all those, you don't take all the gravy tickets because your pay reflects that. And it's like, I guess what I'm trying to dig at is like encouraging other shops and other dealerships and other brands to kind of maybe lean into a position or a pay structure like that, because ultimately it benefits the whole team rather than just a short term of what is it costing me today to pay you that way. That's kind of what I'm trying to cover.
I mean, it's definitely worked out for us. I'm not the only one in my shop that's paid that way. I was initially, and it worked out well. Yeah, you need to be a certain technician, I think. Not everyone. There's people that would take advantage of it, but if you're the type of technician that can utilize your skills in a way that benefits a team. I mean, more so, I would say for diagnostic technicians and team leads, it's beneficial. In my opinion, if I was just a tech and not a team lead, I would prefer to be flat rate, because I know I would be able to do better flat rate, but not everybody's like that either. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. There's a lot of shops that I think they're just skeptical about doing it because dealerships are typically operate under the terms of, well, this is the way we've always done it, so this is the way we're going to keep doing it. And if you find an open-minded dealership that's at least open to exploring it, it works out. You need the right people in the right positions, but that kind of goes with anything.
Yeah, 100%. What was like the process of becoming a master AMG technician for Mercedes since you had started there, and how long did it take you?
So master certification is, I think it's 60 or 70 online / in-person trainings and a tenure of 5 years. That's to hit master. And then the AMG certifications are a little different. You wind up going for essentially 3 days, and it's more of an AMG experience than a training per se. Like they take the most badass cars we have and we go rip them around the track, and they show us all the little ways that you never get to experience these cars in real life on the street and how good they actually are. Because when you're talking to your coworker or you're talking to a customer, you're not reciting something that you learned in a book at this point, because you've had that experience and you've felt it. Like you've felt your body get thrust back in the seat when you gun it, or the G forces forward when you nail the brakes and then whip it around a hairpin curve. And the way that translates as far as your communication is so much different than if you just talk about something that you've learned in a book. That's essentially what the AMG certification is, and we call it a AMG product expert.
Oh heck yeah!
But,
Improves communication by miles.
Yeah.
What's your favorite car that Mercedes? Like what was your favorite car to work on and just drive if it was different?
Favorite car to work on is SLS. That naturally aspirated V8 is designed to be worked on. When you take it apart and you put it back together, the way that timing tools work, just the way the car fits together, there's something beautiful about it, and it's just fun.
So it messes up a lot. That's what I'm hearing.
No, they don't. I've actually never had the motor out of an SLS.
Oh, juke. And it's your favorite one to work on too?
Yeah. I've done a lot on them, but they don't fail.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah, I've done some fairly in-depth things on them, but just not that. It's one of the only cars that we have that I haven't had the motor out of.
Oh, sheesh.
What's that? Is it is it? I'm gonna butcher this. The McLaren, is that it? The SLR?
Yeah, SLR McLaren.
Have you worked on one of those before?
I've had the motor out of one of those.
There's only like a handful of those around, isn't there?
I think they were out for three model years. So there's a few of them around in the United States. Not as many anymore, but they're around.
I just remember Need for Speed driving those things, and I was like, this is the coolest car. And then this was one of those cars that's almost like mythical. You never see it, never hear about it, but I've always just wondered, and it's cool that you've worked on it. I'm like, oh, now I know somebody who's worked on one.
I like the clout that comes with working on those. I hate working on those cars. Everything is so tight. Like when you got to drop the motor to do spark plugs on the engine. It's 80 something hours.
What?
Yeah.
Golly.
The last one I did took me about 2.5 weeks.
What? Why? Why does it take so long? Process?
It's so intricate. Everything is so tight. To the point where like you drop the engine and the trans with the front subframe, like many of our cars, and I'm sure a lot of y'all's cars. But it's so tight to the point when you start dropping it on the table, in the work instructions, it says lower, 3 centimeters, disconnect this. Lower another 3 centimeters and disconnect this. So while it's already front subframe is out of the car and disconnected, it's having you lower it, climb up to the top of the motor and disconnect more things that there's no way you could have gotten to with it 6 centimeters higher.
Okay, I see this. I feel your pain. I can feel how that would be frustrating and annoying.
I mean, there was a purge line that was on the back of it's at the back of the motor, but it's on the firewall. I probably spent 6 hours just trying to get this clamp off. Like, it's a beautiful car. It's engineered phenomenally, but it's not satisfying to work on. It is once it's out, but getting it in and out is a bear.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. I mean, 80 hours is crazy, bro. That's just insane, bro.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's more of a recommended maintenance if somebody decides to do that, because there's several other things that need the motor removed to service, like fuel injectors, valve cover gaskets, things like that. So you recommend that all together.
Yeah.
And I think the last one I did was $22K, CP price.
Are y'all the biggest dealer in your area? I don't want to like call out your specific area, but are y'all the biggest dealer there?
Honestly, Dallas has some big dealers. We're on par. Like, it's us, Park Place, and Grapevine. Us and Park Place are very close in size. I mean, between 80 and 90 technicians, 100-ish stalls. And Grapevine's closer in size. They're not quite as big as those two, us and Dallas, though. And we're in Plano.
How important has communication with customers been to like your success, not only in the shop, but I guess for the brand, and how important it is, but how undervalued is it in your opinion?
I think it's hugely undervalued, and it's not a skill most technicians ever put any effort into learning. I mean, honestly, I think that's more so than my technical skills. That's probably been the thing that sets me apart more than anything else. Because ironically, the first 5 years I was in this career line, I was also waiting tables and bartending in the evenings to make sure I paid my bills. And I never thought those skills would translate. I was like, well, this is just a rough time of grinding. But, down the line, when I got further certified and, went on some test drives with clients, I had those people skills because I was forced to have them, in the service industry, bartending and waiting tables. And I never realized that that's where I'd gotten them, or something that was setting me apart, until somebody said it to me one day. They're like, "Didn't you used to be a bartender?" And I'm like, I never thought those people skills I was learning that would come in handy as an automotive technician, but it's huge. And I think it's one of the biggest reasons I have so many clients that request me, is because I do a lot of the communication myself.
Yes, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear that, because
we rarely hear that around here. Yeah, a lot of technicians don't even like opening their mouths, but we try to advocate on it. Cause I mean, yeah, like you just said, it's a super important thing. I mean, it sets you up for for great success in any type of role, as a team lead or shop foreman, and even as a manager, as a service advisor. Shoot, it makes the job between technician and service advisor easier.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even if you are just a technician your entire career, which is what some people that's what they want. When you can talk to clients and explain things yourself to them, that builds rapport that you can't build any other way. And those people, say they're a brand new client that just bought their first Mercedes, it's under warranty, they're young like you are when you're first out of tech school. And, down the line, they grow, you grow. Now they're a customer pay client. And say you do that once a week. Do that once a week for 10 years. Now you have a clientele list that only wants you working on their car. They trust you. They buy more from you because you've earned that level of trust. And there's just so many benefits to it that a lot of people in our industry don't even think about.
How would you like kind of advocate for other technicians to kind of strive to achieve that level of communication, to kind of train for it? Since, I mean, especially if in the case that they didn't bartend and stuff, how would you kind of try to help them out in that situation or give them advice?
Don't shy away from talking to customers, because the only way you get good at talking to people is by talking to people.
The wheel's crooked.
Dude, until I was a waiter, I was awkward. I was not well adjusted. I went to community college. I was homeschooled the first 12 grades.
Must have been a big family.
Oldest of 9. So yes. But people never guessed that I was homeschooled, because let's be honest, there's some weird homeschoolers out there. There's some normal ones, but it is what it is. But social skills it's a learned thing for most people. And if you don't practice it, then it's not something that's ever going to be a strength for you.
100%.
Have you ever invested in taking classes or courses or coaching or anything like that? Not just communication wise, but just being a better person. Do you invest in yourself that way?
More so with my time. I mean, there's been, I don't know if I've ever paid for anything like a class, but I'm constantly listening to audiobooks and podcasts on whether it's mindset, ways of opening your mind, raising your self-awareness in whatever situation that may be. I do that constantly.
I should start doing that.
I did a course for public speaking / communication with I think his name is Vin Yang. He's the Asian gentleman who wears the glasses, who's also a magician.
That has a super awesome speaking voice.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah,
I do his. I paid for his course last year, and every couple months I'll go through it again and practice just something new. And I don't retain everything, but I am able to get better, a little bit better at some things. And honestly, it's what helped me just do this, why we're having this conversation, why I'm on social media, and just having the ability to keep keep an open mind and learn new skills, whether you're paying for them or not. Just take the time to learn those things and advance yourself, because you're just going to get better than you were yesterday.
That's what it's about right there. People always compare everybody else to everybody else, and I try not to compare myself to anybody.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
You see it in the shop all the time.
Oh yeah, bro flagged 20 hours today, and I only flagged 5. Well, you're probably too worried about him to focus on yourself.
I would say this isn't my rant to go on, but as someone who flags a lot of hours normally. I always tell people, don't look at what somebody else is doing. Don't look at what I'm doing, because all that's time spent comparing or looking is like, we're just talking, it's time you take away from yourself to learn and grow, because we're on different paths. What I'm doing is not the same. And I don't even know where I'm going with this, but it's just like,
you're not the
looking
one that's
through people's
going to be
screens and
watching
stuff.
everybody else, though, because you're worried about your hours. And typically high performers aren't the ones that compare themselves to other people.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think by nature, the pay structure, it definitely doesn't discourage it. It's like, oh, well, why didn't I get that service, or why didn't I get that alignment? And then you caught looking at it and worried about it, and it's all because, okay, then I guess I can lead into this, is like financial preparedness for young technicians, so that they're not like have golden handcuffs in the dealership. Like, does that kind of make sense on that?
Yeah.
Golden.
I mean,
I like that.
That's rough. Nowadays, it's even harder. Like, things are so expensive now. I mean, let's set tools aside. Like, just somebody getting out on their own and getting their first apartment, getting out of tech school, like, that's a challenge. I mean, most of the new guys that I get on my team, most of them live at home.
Got to.
Yeah. So, I mean, that part's a grind until you've got some tenure. I mean, or you get into a really, really good dealer that's paying substantially more than the average. It's tough. So I tell people this career path is not for everyone. Like, if you don't enjoy doing this, you're probably going to have a bad time.
Were you good with your finances, or did you just kind of like trial and error?
I was also always pretty disciplined with it, but I also had the mindset of, if I wasn't making enough, then I would get another job to make what I needed to make. Hence, service industry.
Wait, in the service industry? Or
Yeah, like I was like waiting tables, bartending.
So how long were you doing that into already working in the automotive industry?
The first 5 years. So 2 years.
First 5 years of you being a technician.
Yeah, 2 years into Mercedes.
Dang.
So like 07 to 2012.
That's some dedication.
I was doing 85, 90-hour weeks for about 5 years.
But that's crazy. That's insane.
Hey, I mean, you're young, you're early 20s. You bounce right back.
I don't know. I think I'd rather just grind like crazy at the one job. Jeez, man, you were working, man. Kudos to you. Oof, my mind.
I mean, so I didn't stay bartending once I went flag. That was I was an apprentice at Mercedes for 2 years. So at that point, I was hourly, and hourly was, I don't know, 10.50 an hour. At that point, early like 2010s era, like
a whole different time.
I wasn't paying rent on 10.50 an hour.
Yeah, 100%.
And I couldn't get a ton of overtime because I was hourly.
Yeah, post 2008 apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've just found other ways to do it.
You see it, guys. You hear it right here. Dr. AMG, bartender and automotive technician, grinded his way up to be one of the best technicians for a Mercedes in the world. Like, I mean, shoot, that's inspiring, man. For any young automotive technician wouldn't doubt, this is it right here.
Yeah, I guess that'll lead me into another question. Is like, what is some? I mean, we kind of already touched on it. What are some things that you could maybe say to the younger generation of aspiring or technicians that are struggling right now, that first 5-year period, like, where you had to work that second job? What are something you could tell a young you or a young technician?
this is some advice that I give to some of the newer guys on my team. And when you first get into automotive, excuse me, when you first get into automotive, it's a bottleneck of information. The first year, first 2 years, the first 3 years, you just feel overwhelmed with the amount of information that you're taking in, and you don't feel like any of it's sticking. And it doesn't really matter if you've been through tech school or not at that point, because that doesn't teach you the real world. Only the real world is going to teach you that. But similar to what I was doing, you can cut your learning curve, I mean, practically in half. You know, if say you work 40 hours a week for the first 5 years of your career, and you finish your bottleneck of information, and you are actually starting to get in the swing of things at that point. And I'm not saying that you should do this all the time, but if you have the hustle and grind nature that a lot of good flag technicians have, then say you're working 60, 70 hours a week for the first 5 years. Guess what? That 5 years per se is done in like 2.5 or 3. Like, you can cut your learning curve down in days. It does involve more work, but life is short.
Yeah.
Like,
shoot, make your job a healthy obsession. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't mean
100%. You know, and that's why I really pitch that you should enjoy doing this. Because if you don't, I mean, that's for any profession, honestly. There's so many people that are just miserable when they go to work, whether it's what we do or any other profession. Like, you find something that you enjoy doing and you do it well. Like, money's just, at least a livable income is just an after effect of that.
Mm-hmm. And shoot, the more you love it and the more you pursue it and the better you are at it, I mean, the money goes up with it. So it's kind of a benefit. Yeah. It kind of benefits all corners.
I feel like some technicians get into it and they don't have that mindset, and they don't have that hardworking, like a obsession type mindset where, like, they just go into it because they think it's going to be an easy check, or maybe they think that the world should be handed to them on a silver platter. Like, I'm going to work 40 hours a week, and you need to give me this and that, and I need to have all these like. I see it all the time, and I'm sure you see it as a person who trains technicians. You see, is like, I don't know. Do you just feel like you see that more often now than maybe we did 5-10 years ago? Like, just expecting everything like a hand fed. I don't know. I guess I see it online because of social media and stuff. Maybe not as much in the shop, but
I think the mindsets are different now than they were 10 years ago. But I think a lot of millennials were just as entitled as today's generation were when we were their age. There were few like really good employees back then, and I don't think it's any different now. It's hard. It's always been hard to find good people.
Now, would you say there's the perception on like the automotive industry and like kind of how it's been how it's on like on a standard decline, especially on numbers of technicians? Would you say, were you hearing that when you first started and getting into the industry, were a lot more people telling you, yeah, come on, join the automotive industry? Because nowadays there's a lot of people going against it. Like, don't join. Getting out was the best thing I ever did in my life. Like, well, it's because I wasn't around back then. I just joined in 2022. So what's your perception on it?
You've had both of those camps for since I've been in the industry. The guys that, I mean, we've been in a technician shortage for the last 20 years, apparently. But also, so it's always been an in-demand career. But at the end of the day, there's always going to be, the bitter people that just didn't enjoy it, or it didn't work out for them, or maybe they're just unhappy with their lives. But
old hard truth. it's
that's not a knock on anybody, like this career genuinely is not for everyone.
Some people cut for the cloth, bro. Some people ain't, bro.
I also think like good shops and good dealerships usually don't have this, so to speak, shortage problem that a lot of people have.
We do not have a shortage of technicians at all.
I think the dealerships that complain about, oh, we have a shortage problems are the same ones that fight over pennies for their techs, and they don't work on how to help their technicians. They're always worried about their bottom line or what they're bringing home. They're not. You take care of your people.
If you are a dealership with a technician shortage and there's dealerships around you that don't, you should probably be looking at your own internal processes and not the people that you're hiring.
Yep.
It's
accountability.
It's either bad management or you're just not paying enough, or it's a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Or it's a culture problem.
Oh yeah, culture problems can be big.
Yeah.
Luckily, I mean, shoot, my shop's got a good culture. We kind of all help each other. We're kind of all trying to grind to. I mean, I'm at MDT status, but a couple of the other young guys just like me are trying to reach it as fast as possible. So I mean, that's kind of the culture that we've set in the shop. How have you helped your culture in your shop? Speaking about that, I'm pretty sure. Does anyone else tailor the uniforms yet?
I don't think so. I think that's just me.
Not yet.
You know, it's hard to put words on it, because just like you're talking about with automotive technicians being in demand, but also there's people telling you to get out of it. In a shop that's our size, there's people that simply just don't like me because of I have a social presence online and people bring me their cars. But then there's also people that want to come work for us because of me as well. And so it's kind of hard to say, you know, the culture on my team is awesome. You know, everybody gets along, we all hustle, we all help each other out. But, you know, any group of 80 to 90 people, there's bound to be people that are not going to get along.
Oof. So I'm assuming you've had some confrontations over your social media presence with other technicians.
I wouldn't say I've had confrontations over it. Just some people just don't like you because of it.
Dang, that kind of sucks. That's kind of annoying, but hey, it is what it is. You're gonna keep on doing your thing and making money and making great content. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to experience that. I'm glad I'm in a small shop.
If you got haters, you're doing something right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Chris, before we wrap up here, is there any questions that maybe you wanted to talk about or ask us? Something that maybe came to mind or anything?
I had a question a minute ago and I totally forgot what it was. I mean, how did you've been in the industry 2 years, you said?
I've been in 4.
4, okay. And where are you now?
Well,
are you at Audi?
No, I'm at Toyota.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm at Toyota. I've been at Toyota since I joined. Got out of active duty Marine Corps and applied at a dealership, and they hired me, and then I've been in the shop ever since. And I've kind of obsessed, just the way as you said, grinded your way in, put like plenty of hours, like an overboard of hours, trying to learn on YouTube. I was researching on YouTube, researching ASCs. Toyota's really connected and like partnered with ASCs. So like the way to become master, you got to do all that stuff. So got all my ASCs, got L1, got all the stuff. I'm just trying to grind my way through it. Finally, they've updated their tenure statuses. So in like March, I'll be officially like Toyota master. I've been like ASC master for forever, and like Toyota still classifies me as an expert tech just because of my tenure. But like, bro, I can't help it if I decided to apply myself and actually go what I was out to get. Well,
future congrats.
Thank you very much, man.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot else right now.
This dude's pretty hardworking. He's already he just spoke for for all of it, but it's pretty impressive to see somebody, if you put your mind to it, you put in the work, you put in effort, anything's possible.
I see that a lot out of ex-service guys. Like, I've got some guys on my team that were Army or Marines, and
Heck
they're
yeah.
usually some of the hardest working guys.
Heck yeah. Gotta be. Yeah, thank you, Marine Corps, for allowing me to buy this house that I'm in. I just moved in like a week ago. I moved in last Wednesday.
You just bought your first house?
Yeah, I just bought my first
Dude,
home.
that's awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank
It's
you.
exciting, right?
Oh yeah, 100% excited, man. Super excited. I've been super busy. Been like building a bunch of dressers, building drilling into a bunch of walls. So
I mean, I think I bought my first house in 2021, so it wasn't that long ago.
heck yeah.
Yeah, I think that was about the same time. I think I got mine in 2020. So yeah, I mean,
It was a great time to buy.
29. Well, we really appreciate you, Chris, taking the time to come speak with us and share your story and share some of your knowledge and insight. I feel like it's very valuable to anyone who watches this and anyone that just follows you all the time. I mean, are you posting content again?
I'm actively editing right now.
Okay.
I've been off for about 6 months. Yeah, 6 months. I mean, I got engaged and married last year in
Congrats.
September. It was an out of country wedding, so there was a lot that went into that. And then, Halloween, Thanksgiving, rest of the holidays came around, and I was just kind of mentally burnt out at that point. But I've got some things in the pipeline, and I'm ready to start posting again.
Bro's cooking.
Yeah.
One last question before we hang up, guys. Where do you see yourself in like 5 to 10 years? If you even want to speak up on that, like what are your long-term goals?
I'd like to be a reason that the automotive industry is regarded differently, socially and professionally. I'm obviously an advocate for the profession, but I'm also somebody that's going to challenge people that are unhappy with the profession and just complain, because like we started this conversation, there's a lot of ways that technicians, not only just the way we present ourselves in the way we dress, but also just the way we carry ourselves, the way we interact at work. I think in order for technicians to get to where a lot of the really experienced tenured guys, like you and I, there has to be not just a change in the employers, but also in technicians.
Yeah,
and
there has to be a big change internally. You got to.
And I see Curtis talking about this all the time, and I'm also a big advocate for that. And because before you look outward, you should probably look inward as well. And I hope that I can at least be part of a reason that something changes in that. So I don't really see myself doing anything else 5 years from now. Hopefully, I'm just creating content. Probably have a kid or two in the next 5 years. But professionally, I'm kind of doing what I want to do.
Heck yeah, tech for lifer. There's few among us. There's few among
I know.
Wow. It's good. It's good to do that, especially when you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Many people just unfortunately are in the position where it's the best. They aren't necessarily in love with it, but it's the thing that they're best at. So you're in love with it, and it's the thing you do best. So
yeah,
you're in the best of both worlds, man. Well, Curtis, Chris, if you guys don't have anything for me, I don't have anything for you. Cool. I believe we can go on wrapping this up. Chris, thank you for coming on. Dr. AMG, I'm going to be watching your content. I've been watching your content for a long time. Can you plug in your socials for anybody that's going to be watching?
Yeah, for sure. Instagram, it's at Dr. AMG, all spelled out, DOCTOR AMG. And TikTok, it's Dr._AMG. YouTube is also Dr. AMG.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right there. Thank you for being here, Chris. Thank you very much. We appreciate your appearance. High profile appearance. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Of course, of course. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the WOTPod podcast. We'll see you next time.